Some Protestant and Pentecostal groups argue that Easter is a later addition to the church, that it didn't even exist in the first few centuries, making it a pagan invention. But when you actually look at the historical record, you will see that this claim is completely false. The truth is, the church has been celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ with the high importance since the very first century. Let's dive into the historical proof. This is the sixth and final video in my series on whether Easter is pagan. I have put all these videos into a playlist and I will leave the link for you on the end screen. It's a historical fact that there were major disagreements and controversies in the early church regarding the Easter date, specifically the Quartodeciman Controversy. But here is a key takeaway. The debate wasn't about if they should celebrate Easter or not, it was about when they should celebrate Easter. Let me repeat, the debate in the early church wasn't about if they should celebrate Easter or not. It was given. The real fight was over the timing. There were basically two camps. One group argued that the celebration must happen on the 15th of Nisan, exactly when the Jewish Passover took place. But another group disagreed, pointing to the Bible and arguing that since Jesus rose on the Sunday after the Jewish Passover, that's when we should celebrate Easter. This difference in perspective created a real standoff. This wasn't just a minor disagreement. It was a massive debate that dominated the church discussions for centuries. Think about this for a second. The very fact that there was such a huge controversy over the Easter date in the early centuries is actually the best proof we have that the church was actually celebrating it. I mean, if there was no Easter celebration at all, what were they even arguing about? We have solid historical record to back this up. Saint Irenaeus wrote about Saint Polycarp, who was born around AD 70s, who was the Bishop of Smyrna and a direct student of Apostle John himself, actually sat down with Pope Anicetus in Rome to discuss this very issue. This means that by the second generation of Christians, the timing of Easter was a major topic of debate. Fast forward to AD 325 and the Council of Nicaea finally stepped in to settle the matter once and for all. It's important to realize that Nicaea wasn't inventing a new holiday. They simply took a dispute that had been dragging on for hundreds of years and decided that the whole church should finally be on the same page and celebrate the resurrection on the same day. As we have seen in our previous video, the way we celebrate Easter today by picking the very first Sunday after the first full moon after March 21st. That is the vernal equinox, the spring equinox on March 21st. The church actually set up this rule to prevent seasonal drift, where the holiday slowly drifts backward through the calendar year. As we have discussed, the Jewish calendar is a lunisolar calendar which has only about 354 days, while our solar calendar, the Gregorian calendar and Julian calendar have 365 days. Without a fixed calculation, that 11-day gap would mean Easter would eventually drift right out of spring and back into winter. To stop that and make sure that Easter always stays in the same season as the historical resurrection, the church established the rule. The first Sunday after the first full moon following the Spring Equinox, which is on March 21st. This was simply a measure to keep the celebrations perfectly in sync with the solar year. I went into the full details of how this math works in my previous video. So it should be pretty obvious to anyone looking at the facts that there isn't a shred of paganism involved here. And that brings us to the end of our series on Easter. I really hope these videos have helped you see through the myths and misinformation out there. It's so important that we stick to the actual historical facts.